To some extent, the employee versus contractor question ultimately comes down to how the worker and hirer understand their working relationship. If the worker signs a contract or other written work agreement, the IRS may evaluate that document with these questions in mind. Does the contract entitle the worker to receive benefits like health insurance, paid leave, or a pension? Generally, only employees get these benefits, not contractors. Does the contract specify a duration for the working relationship, or is that relationship expected to continue indefinitely? Indefinite contracts are more common for employees, while agreements with contractors often have set durations. However, there are many exceptions, such as temporary contracts for seasonal employees at an amusement park. Is the worker free to offer their skills on the open market? In other words, does the working agreement restrict the worker's ability to enter into other contracts? Generally, independent contractors have the freedom to work with whichever organizations they choose, even with two competing companies. The IRS may view attempts to curb that freedom as strong evidence that the worker should be classified as an employee. One factor that IRS agents do not pay much attention to is whether a contract actually uses the term employee or independent contractor. The IRS cares about the nature of the agreement, not the specific words used, and regularly overrules attempts to establish a worker's status purely through contract language. No single IRS test decisively settles the employee versus contractor question on its own. A particular question could have the same answer for an employee as it does for an outside contractor. However, if you look at all the tests together with a majority rules mindset, you will likely settle on a classification that the IRS approves. Still, it's a complicated business, so we'd be happy to review your situation with you to help make sure that you and/or the workers you hire get classified appropriately. Complicating matters still further, some workers must be officially classified as either employees or independent contractors by law, regardless of the usual IRS tests. Appropriately, these workers are designated as either statutory employees or statutory non-employees. These classifications come up in specific industries such as food, beverage, laundry, or dry cleaning delivery, traveling sales professions, insurance or real estate sales, certain work-from-home arrangements that involve assembling products for a company, and personal care assistants. Hirers in these fields should learn the specific rules regarding statutory employees and non-employees for their industry, and workers should ask the hirer for clarification of their status. If you find yourself in either position, we'd be happy to help you sort out all the details. Because there is no single definitive test, disputes and confusion over the status of workers regularly arise. Often, workers believe that a company is treating them like employees, but classifying them as independent contractors solely to avoid paying benefits and the employer's share of FICA taxes. In other cases, neither the worker nor the hirer feels confident about how the worker should be classified, even after diligently analyzing every IRS test. In these situations, the worker, the hirer, or both may ask the IRS to make an official decision on whether the worker is an employee. Most often, this request is made by filing IRS Form SS-8, Determination of Worker Status. Any decision that the IRS makes based on Form SS-8 is generally final and binding, so you will want to complete the form with great care. We would be happy to help you determine whether filing Form SS8 is appropriate, and if so, help you complete the form properly with all the required information. Resolving the employee versus contractor question may not be a simple matter, but it is far better to face the issue head-on than to try to avoid it. Hirers that misclassify employees as independent contractors may face tax penalties, and if the IRS has reason to believe that the incorrect classification was deliberate or reckless, those penalties could be severe. If you have any doubts, seek guidance rather than living in fear of an IRS surprise. We're here to guide you through the decision-making process, helping you stay on the right side of the rules. If you have any questions or would like to learn more, please get in touch by calling or filling out the contact form. It will be a pleasure speaking with you about your unique circumstances and needs.